Hey there, when the timer hits 0, it's your turn to comment, and you will steer the next part of the discussion when we make further response videos to this very video. Ready? Here we go. So today we're talking about pre-release thoughts, my personal pre-release thoughts for Sonic Movie 3. Now, for people who just want to be early birds and stay early birds forever and fly away, I'm super excited. There's just a tiny little concern, and I'll start with the one you probably heard a lot, but I gotta at least clarify that I share this concern, is that Shadow's backstory won't be handled with enough sincerity just because of the way that these films carry themselves. And it's a good time to mention it because of this preview, right? Because a super pivotal scene it has still that flavor, right? They haven't gotten rid of that writing style where it interweaves just light jokes, even at these high tense moments. And even in the trailer, the first time we saw Shadow, it wasn't played that funny, right? Sonic immediately goes, we don't want to fight you. And Knuckles is played as the joke, which is to be expected. But in this one, in this actual preview where we're actually finally seeing how it plays out and how it actually carries itself, Sonic's got a joke in there where he's like, "Why do you look like me?" Like he says it twice, but it's like he's being an actor, he's being over dramatic. And Shadow plays into it just a little bit. We didn't get to see that in the trailer. So that is I wanted to validate that concern. I think that that's a valid concern. But I also want to remind people that I feel like this is something we've heard going into almost every movie. And I think that's just this movie's unique style, right? It's not going to be a problem unless it starts claiming it's canon, right? I understand the criticism against IDW as soon as it claimed that it was canon, right? It's held to a higher standard at that time. I like it being for the comics. I like it being canon because it creates this workshop for the game stories. But I have a whole other video on that, so I'll link it here and you can comment and that discussion can happen over there. Movie 3 though, right? This doesn't claim to be canon. So it can be different, it can feel different, and naturally, marketing is going to have a strategy of getting as many people excited about this film as possible. So you're probably familiar, right? When the movie finally comes out, you know, there's a very diverse opinions, right? When you're creating a story, you gotta make some bold choices, right? In the context of writing a story, you gotta make bold choices. You gotta commit to them, and you gotta make nuanced choices that aren't just simple and surface level. And when you're creating a story that's told over a longer period of time compared to a trailer, it's just, you're coming at it completely different. But then when you're on a marketing team, you're looking like, okay, so how do we get the word spread as far as possible? You're trying to tap into things people remember about these characters on a wide scale. So everybody's doing their job here, and because marketing is doing that, I think I kind of like where marketing has evolved, because I kind of like how trailers are over-edited. I don't like it in my YouTube videos or general media, but the trailers being over-edited makes it so that when you finally watch the film, it's a very, very different experience. So that disconnect I was just talking about, where marketing and the actual writers are coming at this from completely different point of views and have different goals, I actually like how that seems to have gotten even further apart in this current media era, right? If you're from a different generation, even older than I, you're probably used to there being less trailers, and the trailers more or less actually playing the scenes that you see in the movie the way that they mostly play out, just kind of skirting along and hyping you up through the narration, right? This in this era, that strategy just simply doesn't work, and I don't doubt that at all. I can say that with pretty much certainty, and for better or for worse. I don't like that that's the case, but the reality is that media is abundant and there's tons of it, and it's all loud and super competitive. There's so many options, and so it's only natural that there's going to be more trailers. They're going to be snappier, they're going to be distorted and not exactly what you see, so that it still feels satisfying when you go into the theater. So this difference that we're experiencing that's generating a little bit of this concern is natural. This is the movie, you know, flexing its unique style, and I don't think it's a problem like in Prime, thoughts on Prime here also, or IDW, lighter to a lighter extent, right? But I don't think it needs to be as focused on, because we can let this be different. We can let this approach Shadow's story differently. I have a lot of faith in Jeff, right? This is him returning to this series. He worked on Shadow the Hedgehog, as I'm sure many of you know. but that shows his dedication to this franchise in particular. So I have faith, so long as they don't start calling it canon. And I'm super excited to see this movie. And that's basically my entire thoughts. This animation also looks so much better. That's it. Peace.